think at every stage of your life, you look at life differently. So it's hard to tell someone in their 20s how they should be till they've experienced certain things. There are certain things that just be words, but if I was going to give a couple habits, I'd say the first habit is to not judge yourself too hard, because I think that's what young people do a lot, and I think people do of all ages. When you're 61 years old and you've lived as much life as I have, a little less judgment of myself in this area. It's not make everything life and death, because then the kid feels that, and it isn't all life and death, But what you can shape is their value system, and not every individual value, but the global values. That life is a balance, that of course you're going to go to extremes, but balance is how the body maintains. It's how life gets in balance. It's like, look for that. It's like life is not about me, it's about we. That life is calling to you to give something. Don't ask what your country's asking for you, as a Democratic president once said. What are you going to do for your country? We kind of lost that theme, not only in our country, but in our parenting. And so I see a lot of kids today that are like, what is my parent doing for me? I could never imagine that thought in my life. My whole thing was like, what can I do for my parents was my focus. What can I do? And all those little patterns lead to a life that is more meaningful and fulfilling. And I think, get on about living a life that's meaningful, and you'll love yourself. As long as you focus on you, you're not going to love you. Because the human brain is always looking for what's wrong, what to protect, what needs to be changed. It's a survival instinct. And so it's looking for things to fight or flight or try to freeze or pretend you're not there about yourself. But when you're in a bit of service, when you're trying to serve something more than yourself, that's when the higher part of your consciousness is there. That's when your heart is flowing. And when you're doing that, you're not thinking about you, and therefore you feel love. And I can tell you my own experience, no one else have to earn love with me, but my strategy has been, I got to earn my own love, right? I got to be worthy of my own love. I don't do that to somebody else.
How do you do that?
Well, by helping millions of people for 44 years. Now I'm finally at the stage where, I fucking love myself. I'm out there.
Right.
I enjoy myself. I appreciate it. But along the way, I've always earned it. Now, I don't think that's necessarily healthy or not, but I like what it's done with me. If I know people that just think they're God's gift to creation, and they don't add any value to any other human being, and they're assholes to be around. They love themselves. So I would challenge that whole belief system. I'd say it's appreciating yourself. It's loving the people around you. And the more you can unconditionally love others, the more you'll unconditionally love yourself. But trying to start with yourself when you're not doing with others, forget it. It'll never happen. By the way, though, stacking is the way you can do things. Most of us stack the negative. If you are really angry, it's not usually because of just the moment. It's that it happened again. It's like if you've ever lost it or overreacted to your kid or to a friend or a business or even within yourself, it's because it happened again. We hit this 1, 2, 3 many point, and then our nervous system overreacts. But what I've learned is you can stack the good. But for example, if you go into a state of really strong anger for more than 5 minutes, your immune system is suppressed between an hour and a half to 2 hours. That's a physiological fact. But no one had done any study. I started stacking good. Like, okay, let me stack a dozen great memories, feel them, see them, experience them. And I felt this biochemical change that didn't just last a half hour, an hour, or 10 minutes. It went on for a day or two. And so I think I've learned to stack the good. So just having the experience is not enough. You got to stack the good to be able to appreciate it. But I think, just come back to the main point here from my perspective, which I think the more you find unconditional love for others, the easier it is to find in yourself. And I think the focus is serving and loving, and that's what will get you to the point where you start doing it. But if you want to speed it up, stack all the good you've done, you'll feel great about yourself.